You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into trawler life. In fact, a lot of people are surprised when they find out just how low the entry point can be. Because while the internet is full of luxury yachts and million-dollar builds, there's a completely different side of boating that doesn't get talked about as much. Older trawlers, simple boats, and real-world options that you can actually afford. And yes, some of them are under $50,000. But here's the part most people don't understand. Cheap doesn't mean easy. These boats come with trade-offs, compromises, and sometimes problems that you don't see until you're already in it. So in this video, we're looking at 5 real trawlers you can find under $50,000, what they're actually like, and whether they're worth it once the dream meets reality. Before we get into specific boats, there's something you need to understand about this price range. At $50,000, you're not buying a perfect boat. You're buying something that already has a long history, and that means condition matters more than anything else. 2 identical trawlers can feel completely different depending on how they were maintained. One might be ready to go, while the other could need thousands in repairs right away. This is where most people get it wrong. They focus on the model, the layout, or how the boat looks in photos, instead of focusing on the structure, the engine, and the systems. Paint, upholstery, and electronics can all be fixed. Structural issues, engine problems, and water damage are where things get expensive fast. So instead of chasing the nicest looking boat, you want the most solid one, because at this level, you're not buying perfection, you're buying potential. At this price range, small details start to matter more than people expect. Storage, access to systems, and how the space is actually used can change your entire experience on board. Things that seem minor at first quickly become part of your daily routine, and that's usually where expectations meet reality. If you start looking into affordable trawlers, the CHB 34 is one of the first boats you'll come across, and there's a reason for that. These boats are everywhere, and they've been used as entry-level liveaboards for years. It's a classic design, single diesel engine, full displacement hull, and slow cruising speeds around 7 knots. Nothing flashy, nothing complicated. And that's exactly the point. This is a simple, traditional trawler that does what it's supposed to do. Inside, it's basic but usable. You get a salon, a small galley, and a forward cabin that works well for a couple. It's not luxury, but it's enough to live on if your expectations are realistic. The big advantage here is simplicity, fewer systems, easier maintenance, and lower operating costs. But there's a catch. Build quality varies a lot. Some of these boats were well taken care of, others were not. And at this age, that matters more than anything. If you find a good one, it's a very honest and practical boat. If you find a bad one, it can quickly turn into a project. Another important factor is how the boat was used before. A well-maintained boat that was used regularly is often a better option than one that sat unused for years. Systems tend to degrade faster when they're ignored, and that can lead to hidden problems later on. The Marine Trader 34 takes a different approach. Where the CHB focuses on simplicity, this one focuses on space. And that changes the experience completely. The biggest advantage here is the double cabin layout. You get 2 separate sleeping areas, which makes the boat feel much bigger than it actually is. The aft cabin, in particular, feels more like a small bedroom than a typical boat cabin, and if you're thinking about living on board, that makes a huge difference. Many of these boats also come with 2 heads, which adds another level of comfort that you don't always get in this price range. Performance is similar to other trawlers, slow, steady, and efficient, around 7 knots. And that's where it stays. This is not a boat you rush. It's a boat you settle into. But again, condition is everything. Some marine traders are solid. Others suffer from poor maintenance, electrical issues, or water damage. A survey is not optional here, it's critical. But if you find a good one, you get a lot of space for the money, and that's what makes this boat stand out. Space is one of those things that becomes more important over time. What feels fine for a weekend can feel very different after a week or two. Layout, storage, and separation all start to matter much more when the boat becomes your living space. The Mainship 34 is probably one of the easiest boats to recommend in this price range. It's simple, practical, and much more user-friendly compared to some of the older trawlers. Most of them come with a single diesel engine, which keeps things straightforward. Lower fuel burn, fewer systems, and easier maintenance overall. That makes a big difference if you're new to boating. The layout is also one of its strongest points. It feels more open, more modern, and easier to live with day to day. Visibility from the salon is excellent, and many models include a lower helm, which becomes extremely valuable in bad weather. You're not forced to operate the boat outside when conditions get uncomfortable. Handling is another advantage. This is not an intimidating boat. It's predictable, manageable, and forgiving, which makes docking and maneuvering much easier. But again, at this price, you're looking at older boats. Expect cosmetic wear, aging systems, and small issues. The key is finding one with good bones, because if the structure and engine are solid, everything else can be improved over time. Cost doesn't stop at the purchase price. Maintenance, fuel, and unexpected repairs are all part of ownership. And with older boats, those costs can vary a lot depending on condition. The Prairie 29 is a smaller option, but that's exactly what makes it interesting. Not everyone needs a large trawler, and in some cases, smaller actually makes life easier. This boat is more compact, easier to handle, and cheaper to maintain. That alone makes it appealing for beginners. Inside, space is limited, but still functional. You get the basics: a place to sleep, a small galley, and enough room for short trips or even minimalist living. This is not a luxury setup, and it's not designed for long-term comfort in the same way larger boats are. But it works, and sometimes that's all you need. The advantage here is simplicity and cost, lower fuel consumption, fewer systems, and less overall maintenance. The downside is space. If you're planning to live on board full-time, it can feel tight. But for someone who wants an affordable way to get on the water, this is one of the easiest entry points. There's also a financial side to all of this that people often underestimate. Buying the boat is just the beginning. Even a cheaper trawler will have ongoing costs. Maintenance, fuel, marina fees, and unexpected repairs can add up quickly. And the older the boat, the more unpredictable those costs can become. That doesn't mean it's a bad idea, but it does mean you need to be realistic about it. A cheap boat can still become expensive if you're not prepared. The Albin 25 is one of the smallest and most affordable boats on this list, but it has a reputation for reliability that makes it worth mentioning. This is not a traditional trawler in the full sense, but it fits into the same slow cruising lifestyle. It's compact, efficient, and surprisingly capable for its size. The engine setup is simple and fuel consumption is extremely low compared to larger boats. That makes it very affordable to operate. Inside, space is limited, but well used. Everything is compact, but functional. This is not a boat for luxury living. It's a boat for simplicity, for short trips, minimalism, or someone who just wants to be on the water without spending a lot of money. And in that role, it works very well. And finally, there's the lifestyle itself. Living on a smaller, older boat is very different from what most people are used to. Some find it freeing, others find it limiting. It really depends on what you're expecting going in. The truth is, you can absolutely find a trawler under $50,000, but the real question is not whether you can buy one, it's whether you're ready for what comes with it. Because at this price, every boat is a compromise. Some give you more space, others give you simplicity, and some give you reliability, but none of them give you everything. And that's something you need to be honest about before you make a decision. The right approach is not to look for the perfect boat, it's to look for the right trade-offs. What matters most to you? Space, cost, simplicity, or capability? Because once you understand that, finding the right boat becomes much easier. Take your time, look at as many options as you can, and focus on condition above everything else. Because in this price range, condition is everything. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know. Would you actually live on a $50,000 trawler?